Well, hello there and good day. Thank you so much for joining me at Dystopian Report, the place where we talk about the nightmare world we have found ourselves living in. I'm your host, Jesse Pullman, and today is June 9th. It's about 8:45 p.m. EDT as I film this. Today we are once again talking about the involvement of federalized National Guard and active duty Marines being deployed in Los Angeles, California, where it is, if I am correct, about 5:45 p.m. A reminder, I like to use timestamps for future historians' ease of processing data, and history is happening as we speak. Now then, over the past 48 hours or so since my last video on the topic, there have been a number of events. I won't go through every tit for tat, but in the past hour or so, the Trump regime has indicated it is deploying 2,000 more National Guards, and it's also indicated that they're deploying Marines into Los Angeles. Meanwhile, Governor Gavin Newsom and the state of California have sued the Trump administration for relief. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know all the details, so we're going to touch on an article about this from PBS affiliate KQED News, written by Katie DiBenedetti and Guy Marzorati, that has some information on it. Let's take a look. Forgive me if I'm a little slow in bringing up websites. So this is the article. California sues Trump for sending National Guard troops into LA after ICE protests. It's dated June 9th. It is updated. I'm going to refresh this video, this article, just to make sure. It's updated 3:01 p.m. Monday. I don't know what p.m. that is. I'm assuming Eastern. California sued the Trump administration on Monday over its deployment of thousands of National Guard troops in Los Angeles over the weekend, after widespread demonstrations against increased immigration enforcement erupted across the city. In their lawsuit, Governor Gavin Newsom and Attorney General Rob Bonta argue that the Trump's activation of the Guard violated the limits on federal power under the 10th Amendment because Newsom did not ask for the troops. Under ordinary circumstances, National Guard units are under the command of state governors. Quote, "This is something that is within Governor Newsom's sovereignty," Bonta said, "and he did not authorize the use of National Guard here, nor did he call for it." I may have messed that quote up, but that's what he said. Bonta added that local law enforcement agencies, including the Los Angeles Police Department and Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, had enough resources to manage the crowds and respond to sporadic vandalism. Quote, "With this order, Trump and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth ignored law enforcement's expertise and guidance," Bonta said. The suit comes amid rising tensions between the Trump administration and California leaders. As Newsom and Bonta accused Trump of overstepping federal law to send in the Guard, the president voiced support for arresting Newsom. After Trump's border czar Tom Homan, I don't know how to say this, Homan, said Saturday that anybody who impedes the work of federal law enforcement agencies could face arrest, Newsom upped the ante in a Sunday interview with MSNBC. Quote, "Come after me, arrest me, let's just get it over with, tough guy," unquote, Newsom said. Quote, "I don't give a damn," unquote. I wish he'd used stronger language. There's an F word that would have suited. Trump told reporters outside of the White House on Monday that Newsom was doing a terrible job and that he'd support Homan pursuing an arrest. "I would do it if I were Tom. I think it's great," Trump said. "Gavin likes the publicity, but I think it would be a great thing." Meanwhile, the administration is expected to increase the military presence in Los Angeles on Tuesday by deploying a battalion of 700 active duty Marines based out of 29 Palms to serve in a, quote, "support role," unquote. This is where I remind you that originally Pete Hegseth said they were coming from Camp Pendleton. Seems the guy doesn't know what he's talking about for Secretary of Defense, but then again, as we pointed out in a previous dystopian report, in a very jocular sense, I am better qualified to do the job than him. Is there anything else particularly relevant here before we take back to the script moment? Well, yes. Trump's memorandum sending the National Guard into Los Angeles invoked a rarely used provision of the U.S. Code that allows a president to deploy Guard troops to a state if, quote, "there is rebellion or a danger of a rebellion against the authority of the government of the United States," unquote. The last time a president deployed a state's national force without the request of his governor was in 1965. And may I add as an aside, that was to enforce racial desegregation, not to enforce deportations of people and obviously disappearances of people, as we use the term here. So, is there anything else that is particularly relevant? According to California Legal Affairs Secretary David Sapp, there is no need for the National Guard to be deployed in Los Angeles and to do so in this unlawful manner, and for such a length of period is a serious breach of state sovereignty that seems to intentionally designed to inflame the situation. Other cities have had protests. San Francisco, for example. I know New York has had some events. That's a thing. Something to consider. We're going to go back to the script. And do forgive me if it takes me a second to bring it up. With all of this said, what this sets up is a legal fight between the president and the governor of a state as to whether the guard was appropriately called up and thus who controls the National Guard. This very likely will go to the Supreme Court as it's a state suing the federal government under what is considered an emergency situation. What's more, it might create a situation where the National Guard gets two conflicting sets of orders. One from the regime, that's the president, and one from the governor. That is a crisis no one wants to see the outcome of, but the Trump regime's brutality knows no bounds, and it's possible they will ignore a possible court order ruling that Newsom has the authority over Trump. As I said in my last video, I know we are a small group here, but if we know anyone who is in the military, anyone at all, is that this case seems to warrant, it's time to remind them that they do not have to follow illegal orders. There are resources out there to help you. For instance, the GI Rights Hotline exists, and its phone number is 1-877-447-4487. Again, the GI Rights Hotline, 1-877-447-4487. If you get an order you aren't sure is legal, call them. For the rest of us who want to do something about this, the June 14th No Kings protests are coming up soon. That is our best shot. We already been organizing for it. It's not bad to do sporadic things, but this is the day we have to be there if we can. We like to focus on what we can do to make our own faiths better on this channel, and as a result, you'll want to be at your local protest. There will be links in the description of this video to protest resources. Or if you can't be at something, let's say you have a doctor's appointment or you have a prior commitment, maybe a volunteer thing, try to protest silently in some way if you're doing some other kind of thing. For example, if that means you have to wear a pin instead of wearing a protest sign, if you can wear a pin with a message as you go about your day, get out there and spread the word that way, because showing that you disagree with this regime is vital to our survival as a democracy. Also, in case we get some of the stray comments that we got from the last video, no, Gavin Newsom hasn't committed treason. He hasn't bankrupted California. And while I have no great love for the man, and he definitely shouldn't be president, he is definitely in the right on this matter. California is not in a state of rebellion. You can look at the cameras on the street. You can watch people doing things. It's pretty chill, all in all. People are dancing. People are selling hot dogs. Gavin Newsom's right on this issue. There's no question about it. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining me. If you appreciate this video, the number one thing you can do for this channel is to subscribe to it. That way we can continue to make these videos. We know what you're watching. If you like the video, we know what you're watching. We'll keep making more stuff like this. Thank you all so much for joining me. Leave a comment. Sure, go ahead. Tell me that Trump's the greatest president ever. I'll ignore your comment with a little thumbs down that you'll probably never even see. What fun. No, but in all seriousness, thank you for being here, and as always on this channel, pieces.